connectivity with, because we are a B2B company, on your reception counters. It will increase your profits. A health desk. We talked about health tourism. All the hospitals give a commission. If you set up a basic medical help desk in your hotels, where you are able to, just screen, it doesn't cost. Basic X-ray, blood pressure, have a nurse, and if someone is really serious, send them to a hospital and you make money. Plus, you increase customer satisfaction. Friends, I don't want to take more time, but there are so many things which our hoteliers are not doing. Loyalty programs. Only the international chains have loyalty programs, loyalty cards. Why can't Indian chains have that? Package tours. When Sri Lanka there was terrorism, we got together and we started with a company jointly with Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lankan Holidays. In 2 years, we were able to send 30,000 people on package tours to Sri Lanka. And today, it's the Indians are the #1 travelers there. Lucky draws. That's another thing you guys can do in your hotels. Free pickup and drops. Those who are near the airports, fine. Those who are away from the city center, free pickup and drop. It doesn't cost much, but it gives customer satisfaction. What we should look at are repeat customers. And if we focus on them, I'm sure, and if you don't undercut the travel agent and tour operator, then your business will be steady and it will grow. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, sir, you mentioned that you were on the last row, then you came on the middle row, and you've come on the dais. And still, we have 60 licenses before starting a hotel. Why? The reason is that the industry is not united. We all want to do things for ourselves. We don't look at the industry. When I was the president of the tour operators, in every forum I used to say that we should give land banks, we should, Mr. Rajinder Kumar is there, we were in a meeting where I fought for FAR to be increased. Am I right, Mr. Rajinder Kumar? I'm not a hotelier, but I know if hotels don't make money, I can't make money. So we are in it together. You may be the elder brothers, we may be the younger brothers, but we have to fight together. Because unless the industry is united, today the American industry shakes the tourism industry, the hoteliers, the travel agents, the tour operators, the transport operators. If all of us get together, we can shake the parliament. And we are an educated lot. And we are the financiers of the politicians, we are the financiers of the government, we are the taxpayers. But unfortunately, this country's toleration has become intolerable. That is why we can tolerate the nonsense that is happening. And our money, our taxpayers' money, our service tax, our luxury tax is being exploited by people like Al-Mahdi and gang.
Folks, if you don't mind, I'm going to stand here because this way at least I can see everybody. And I can hopefully bring people into the conversations at the right time. Value for money was what came through very much so in the last 5 minutes. And we have two stalwarts sitting on this table who amongst the organized players are perhaps bringing in the largest inventory of room supply in the value for money segment. So Suresh and Ashish, I'm going to put you guys on the spot. I want you to tell us about the value for money products that you think our country needs. And I'd also like you to talk, and I will ask some questions on what is happening with the amount of new room supply. It's a very topical question that everyone's very interested in. So we'd like to understand a little bit about that. Suresh, you want to go first?
I think, Homi, first of all, it seems that the last 3 sessions of 3 speakers have already said hoteliers are on the spot. So I'm on the spot of bother to respond to this. But I think it reminds me of a Hindi song first. It says, "एक सवाल तुम करो, एक सवाल हम करें." Question is, at the end of the day, we come to a conference with a question, we go back with a question. I think what you are trying to say is that we are into value segment. I think it is understood. It is not that the audience sitting here is also not well versed. I think these are printed news media items are saying there's so much of demand, so much of supply. Hoteliers need to put in rooms. But I think I go back to what Mr. Sherwani said, the session chairman. The answer is that the cost of land is prohibitive in this country. If that is the cost, then how do you build this? So I think that the way of going ahead that we thought in our business was that there are many landowners across this country whose pieces of land range from 1500 square yards onwards. So what we did was we did the brand extensions to say that okay, we'll build livable, great rooms, so therefore we positioned our chain as a first class full service business hotel. That all these 5 services of health, gym, Wi-Fi, room service, because in Indian circumstances, if you don't give room service, I don't think you run a good hotel. I think we decided that, and hopefully, if you look at the brand positioning today, we are across 45 cities. We have done 62 alliances. We are running 3,000 rooms. We have become the largest room retailing chain in a segment which we call as a mid to upscale. I think the market for our hotels would be about $100 a room and $10 a check. I don't know whether I've responded to you right.
Suresh, I'm going to butt in. Look at the slide. This is the top 20 hotel chains in our country. Back here, and these are the top 10 hotel groups internationally, where IHG alone has 643,000 rooms. If you take these top 10 and you put our estimated room supply of 110,000 rooms, we are only 2.6% in our whole country of the top 10 companies in the world. So I think the point that I was seeking to make is, you know, people are worried and the figures vary from 53,000, 60,000, 80,000 down to 65,000 new room supply. I'd like you to look at this slide where Vegas has more hotel rooms than all of India. So what is the whole industry panicking about? Yes, rates will go down, but is it as bad as people think it is, or is there lots of room to grow? That's what I want, Ashish.
Which never stops, right? We've been attending conferences for the last 6-7 years, and I think a lot of these questions emerge from the emotions of the people. So when the going was good, people were complaining that we don't have enough rooms. When the going gets tough, people are complaining we have too many rooms. I don't think we make business decisions based on those emotions. And if anybody is putting money in the business like we do, we are fully aware of the cycles. We're fully aware that it's a cyclical business. It is a business which requires long-term capital. It's a business which requires deep pockets. And I think that's the fundamentals of the business. And as much as that's the fact about the business that you cannot ignore, there are certain facts about the market, right? So if we are in India, and I'm kind of reflecting on some of the discussions we've had on this panel about the problems we face here, whether it's the high land cost, whether it's the infrastructure, whether it's the poor coordination in the travel and tourism industry. The fact is, we are in India as a market, we are here for the consumers. We're not here for ourselves. Now, the consumers have a certain fabric that they're woven around with. We cannot try and change that overnight. What I mean to say, we are here for the demographic dividend, we are here for the democracy. If both of these things are there, there will be some pressure on the infrastructure. And we can't keep cribbing about that. We need to find ways to work around that, including land cost. So one of the big things that I've been hearing for the last 7 years in every single conference is, how do you build hotels with such high land cost? So apparently a problem, but a problem is an issue that one person cannot handle. So if somebody else can handle it, it's not a problem for him. If you can't handle it, it's a problem for you. We as a hotel company have figured out that while our growth is slower than what we thought it would have been, but we are still growing despite high land cost.
Actually, I have one answer to that. We have a burgeoning middle class and upper middle class population in India. No one's touched on domestic tourism, which I think is really a lifeblood. Hold on. Now, why are you guys not concentrating on resort properties? The average room rates in Coorg, for example, have gone from 3,000 to 10,000 in the space of 2 years. There are opportunities waiting out there. Why are you guys all running after the cities?
I think there are two aspects to that. One is purely financial and today India is a growth story, not because of its tourism product, it's because of its economic potential. Let's face that fact, right? So people are coming to India, whether they are large businesses or hotel companies, investors, FDI, FII, they're coming here for the huge domestic consumption. Let's not make a mistake, they're not coming here for Taj Mahal, right? Taj Mahal is something that they see while they are here. So the fact is that we have to largely build our business models around the large economic growth of this country.
Subhashji, if you were to become a hotelier, what would you do? Resort?
Well, sorry. There's no single solution. You see, every market, every city, every state has its unique marketing needs. You have to build your product to satisfy the needs of the clients. In one area, a resort hotel can work. In another area, a business hotel will work.
Answer my question, sir.
In another area, bed and breakfast would do better.
Which one would you do?
Well, I've never thought of opening a hotel because I don't want to go through 60. I don't want to go through 60 licenses.
I think our chairman wants
When you
to
do one window clearance, then I'll think of a hotel.
I think I would go for a hill station resort hotel because if I made it in the...
Someone please actually put their hand up and say what has happened good in infrastructure and what good they are doing for infrastructure. I think we have a huge success story in civil aviation, but because that's done and we now have the flights and we have 30 return flights to Bombay, no one cares anymore. I think we have taken huge leaps. Telecom, which has also affected our lives, civil aviation. Also, instead of complaining about the road outside, why can't we, as an industry, especially when it affects our hotel, go out and fix it? So, anyone like to offer any thoughts on that?
For me, we agree as a company that we...
More than 50 hotels in the category of 2 and 3 star because there was a 5 attacks per day that was being given to them. They've already classified more than 40 hotels in Gurgaon, Greater Noida, and Delhi, and some more properties are coming up. So, as far as the number of rooms are concerned, certainly there is a big increase.
Okay. Naveen, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that quite a few speakers have already mentioned that our tourism story hasn't happened. We were talking about 5 million, 10 million, all these years, we are still hovering around 5 million. And I think somewhere when industry and government mix together, they have to find some solution or some kind of a answer why it's not happening. So it's easy to find a scapegoat somewhere in a third party. And this poor fellow called infrastructure is a very easy scapegoat. There is nothing wrong with our infrastructure. There are countries which have lesser infrastructure than us, and they are doing better than us in tourism. Talking about infrastructure again, I think the average room of occupancy of the year round for all the hotel industry shouldn't be anywhere more than 50-60%. So as far as room supply is concerned, you still have plenty of rooms available, but they're not getting sold.
I don't know how many of the hotels. You mentioned that you have done 1, 2, 3-star ratings. Most of us in this room are a little concerned with our Indian rating system, and we'd like to put you squarely on the spot. A Courtyard or a Holiday Inn or a Novotel with a swimming pool qualifies as a 5-star deluxe. These are mid-market hotels. In fact, I have a few slides that actually give you what the world considers to be classification. So maybe if I could run you through that first. Manoj, switch. Manoj? Architecture in our industry. So there's the luxury segment, which is way at the top, and we've broken it into tier 1 and tier 2. There will always be arguments on it, and everyone will have a point of view, but take this for what it is. Then we have upper upscale. This is how the international hospitality industry classifies. Then we have upscale. Then we have mid-scale, and mid-scale is large, so again we've broken it into 2 tiers. Then we have budget, and then we have economy. A 200 square meter room size for a 5-star hotel would probably fall into the budget segment in India. So this is a real problem we have, sir. So how can you help us?
We already have the guidelines for classification of different categories of hotels. It is there on our website and most of our friends from the trade.
But they don't work, sir.
No, they do work.
No, they do work, but they don't tell the user what the actual product is.
Yeah, now, this is one we have decided also in the ministry that we'll be loading on our website as to what is being provided by a 5-star category hotel or a 2-star or 3-star in India. That is also it is in the pipeline, it will be coming soon. So that at the end of the day, the end user, the consumer will be able to know what he or she is going to get from that particular category of hotel.
Well, maybe at the end of this session when we do the questions and answers, we can have a show of hands at some stage to see how many people want the classifications to be changed.
I think, you see, the most important is that, so that at least you know that something is there, some benchmarking is there. So that is very important. And that the consumers also, they want to be sure as to which hotel they are going, whether the particular hotel is classified or not classified, what facilities they are providing. Some people, they just cite 3-star facilities, they might not be having the 3-star facilities, whether they have been at all classified or put by the ministry. They can just say themselves. So this is what is happening. So it's good that they are classified or approved by.
No, I'm not for a moment saying that your classification is better than, is worse than having, it's better than having no classification. But don't you think we should sort of, perhaps the minister, Suresh, you were going to say something.
For me, I'd like to butt in, I've been struggling with this classification. I think the classification that you've shown today on the international markets, I think are the right way of expressing hotels. In Indian circumstances, I think we have been brought up to say a 5-star hotel should have a very long drive into the hotel, but may not have services of the hotel. So I think our understanding of 5-star deluxe, luxury, I mean, if you didn't have water in your house and you get water one day through your tap, it's luxury. So you have to define these standards in such a fashion that the world understands as to what they're expecting out of it. The other point that I had in my mind here was that I think budget hotel, we continue to use this term very loosely in this country, that we must have budget hotels. Now, budget hotels, when you look at the Western world, per hour salary of a worker is $8 to $10. 8 hours when he works, he gets $80. If he spends 1 day's earning in spending in a hotel, that is $80. Conversely, look at Indian circumstances. 1 day salary of a guy whose bare minimum wage is about 4500 bucks is 140 bucks. Not 140 bucks you want me to build a hotel. It's not possible. So where is this budget concept coming in? I think we need to change some of our understanding of saying that in India there will be no budget hotels. There may be hostelries or dormitories.
Homi, can I?
That's how I think the country is looking at it. Everybody says I do the budget hotels. There's no budget.
No, which for you is higher, budget or economy?
I think budget is higher.
Yeah, okay.
And not the economy.
Okay.
Or in India, you can't have no frills hotels. You can't not give service. Can you tell a guy in India to check in at 200 rupees and will not carry your baggage? It's not possible.
Chairman Saab, you were going to say something?
From hotel side. And you know what happened in Gurgaon is that all hotels, which I think by the present classification should be 4-star superior hotels if there is no superior hotel, were classified 3-star because they wanted 3-star. So that by 31st July they would get the tax rebates.
So
now this is what happens, and I was telling Shaw Saab and he that now you'll have a genuine 3-star poor chap who will go for reclassification of one of our members, 5 years, 15-year-old hotel, and you will have him next door, you'll go and you'll say, but look at that 3-star, it has got all these facilities and you don't. So you will not classify him as 3-star, you'll give him 1-star or 2-star facilities, but actually that was supposed to be a 4-star. So what needs to be done is to put people like Humi onto the committee with the Secretary of Tourism and reclassify all this whole system. So that we have a more authentic system.
Subhashi, you must have a huge problem. When we did surveys in Goa, I remember, the tour operators actually pulled out a different classification for every hotel in Goa. They did their own classification, which all the buyers then accepted.
Well, we represent the customers, and we would classify a hotel according to what the customer expects. That is the most important thing. I think FHRI is a very strong and representative body. You can come up with your own methods or suggestions, and I'm sure if your president can get section 8023G, you know, which is a great thing, it's a great achievement of FHRI, and that gives you more or less an infrastructure status. And only thing is, instead of 5 years of tax holiday, you should ask for 10 years of tax holiday. So, coming back to the classification, I think classification is just for your satisfaction, maybe for tax benefits or to get the import license to import alcohol and certain other benefits. As far as the customer is concerned, he will go on the Facebook, he will go on the Twitter, he will go, there are various sites which give a feedback or customers' opinions. And nowadays, the customer is more clever and he doesn't care for classifications. All that he wants is value for his money. And any hotelier or any group which can give them value for money is going to win the race. And you may be the 5-star deluxe classification, you may have all the spas, you may have everything, and if you're not able to market it, तो जंगल में मोर नाचा किसी ने ना देखा, हम थोड़ी सी पी के झूमे. So don't, worry so much about classification.
Last topic, because then we'll have a few minutes left.
For me, just to add to that, don't forget, brands are also going to help the consumers a lot.
Absolutely.
Because there's a greater consistency in the brands globally than actually, because don't forget, classification system across the globe changes. So there's a star system in Germany, there is this upscale thing in most of the parts of the world.
Can you hear me?
For a global traveler, it is in the end the brands which will matter. So for instance, he knows Fortune is the brand, he knows what he's going to get in the Fortune. If he comes to an eBay.
So all the standalone hotel owners over here
no, but don't forget,
should.
no, they have been taken care of by people like Mr. Goyal, who the intermediaries are going to know, but the intermediaries have this job to guide the consumers. And if the intermediaries have not been guiding the consumers well, they will not be the preferred ones. So in the end, while classification is imperfect, I think it is not impacting the business as of now significantly. I know it's an irritating issue, but I don't think it has a significant influence on the way we business do. What is more important is the point that Suresh picked up, and I think what all of us miss is that we are not really building hotels for the masses in India. So this whole concept of next billion, and this next billion is a huge set of consumers in India. We are not building a single hotel for the next billion consumer because he cannot afford to pay maybe 1,500 rupees, 2,000 rupees that we were going to charge for an E-Tap or a Red Fox, or 4,000 rupees for an Ibis, or 5,000 rupees for a ball. We are not just building hotels for that segment. So yes, to that extent, we are culprits to the extent that we say we are budget and economy, but in the Indian context, from an Indian consumer's perspective, our poverty line starts much higher.
Ashish, last topic before we go, and I want you to answer this one because you're the only one on this.
Both the partners are very well funded, so we really don't seek third-party equity that often, except for recently when we have a joint venture with GIC and Host. So I'm really not an expert on equity raising in this business. As far as debt is concerned, in the last 6 years, we've had absolutely no issues of raising debt. Even during the time when globally there was a complete meltdown, and we've been able to close non-recourse debt, large, including 2008, 2009, 2010, and I'm talking about ticket sizes of 400 crores and 500 crores per project. So
and we're also talking about door-to-door.
We are providing CFA.
You provide a grant or?
Central financial assistance to the tune of certain amount, depending on how many tents is coming up or how many caravans is being provided by the private state.
Thank you.
And one more thing, just to add, the scheme of classification is only a voluntary by Ministry of Tourism, and we always have, whatever is the classification guidelines, it has not been just made by Ministry of Tourism. We have the representative of FHRI, HAI, everybody.
So maybe I'll get wrapped on the knuckles after this. Okay. A question over there.
Good afternoon to all the members. We've all discussed that the great challenges in developing new hotels because of the land cost is very exuberant. But as a developer, I would like to ask you, what are the things we need to incorporate while developing a hotel that the model remains effective and it is, very, very efficient for the developer to run the property once it's developed?
On the site or well before even and up to opening. Chori is one of the biggest problems in our country. So We have projects where where one member of the family actually sits and you can see a discernible difference in cost. Second is, right, or well before even and up to opening.